In today's guided lesson, we're going to find out how to read, write, and represent whole numbers through 100 millions. So you guys have already watched your lessons on writing numbers in different forms and on place value. So we're just going to review the forms and practice a little bit of finding the values of numbers and comparing them. So we've learned about the vocabulary word is a period, in which a number in a period has groups of 3 digits separated by commas. So for example, in 1 million, the tens, the ones, and the hundreds would be one period. You would have a period here, and then this would be another period, your thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. And then you would have another period over here for your millions. So this would be your hundreds period. This would be your thousands period. And this would be your millions period. And so that's something that you guys learned in your lesson, but just as a review before we get started. And then we also learned about 3 different ways to write numbers. There's standard form, which is just writing the number out regularly like you normally see it. We have word form, where your number is written out like you would say it. And then we have expanded form, where you're writing out the value of each digit in that number. And so we're going to practice doing that with a number down below. So you're going to want to have your math book open to page 9. If you need to get your math book out, please feel free to pause the video. So you're going to use the place value to read and write numbers. So we have a number here that is written in standard form. Okay, and the way that you would say this number is we would say 582,30,000. So they've already started down here with word form, 582, and we just need to write our 30,000 here. So we have our 582, and then this would be 30,000. So I'm just going to continue writing the number out in word form, and that would complete it. The next one we have here is expanded form. So that is where you're taking each of these digits and you're writing out the value of those digits. And anytime you come across a 0, we don't have to write the value of a 0. You can skip that. You're more than welcome to write it out if you'd like to, but it's not necessary. So it looks like they've done our first digit for us. They've already done the 5. So the next digit would be the 8. So you're going to write the 8 in the first blank, and then you're going to write the value of what that 8 would be. So this 8 is in the 10,000s place, so I'm going to write 10,000 because this 8 is worth 80,000. It looks like they did the 2 for us. We can skip the 0, and then we have our 3. Our 3 would come next, and our 3 is in the tens place. So that is how we would write it out in expanded form. The next thing down here, it says the average distance from Jupiter to the Sun is 483,600,000 miles. Write the number in distance, the number that shows this distance in miles. So I'm going to go ahead and underline that number, which is in word form, so that I can go ahead and write it in standard form. So my number is 483,600,000 miles. So 483 million. Well, I'm going to write 483 because that's telling me my digits. That says that it's millions, so that means it's going to have a comma. 600,000. So I know that it's going to be 600 in the thousands period, and then there's nothing after that. So that tells me that these digits are all 0. So the way I would read this number would be 483,600,000. And that is standard form, word form, and expanded form. So let's go ahead and turn your book pages over to page 10. And we're going to do a little bit of problem solving on page 10. So page 10 says place value patterns. And so we learned a little bit about place value patterns in our last lesson from yesterday. So let's dive a little bit into that. It says Canada's land area is about 4 million square miles. Iceland has a land area of about 40,000 square miles. Compare the two areas. So we have a problem here. And so what I'm going to do, an important thing that you can do in math is always underline important information in your problem. So I know that it's really important that I know that Canada's land area is 40,000 square miles and Iceland is 4 million square miles and Iceland is 40,000 square miles. And I know that I need to compare the two areas. That's my question. That's what I'm being asked to do. So the first step is I'm going to write the numbers in my place value chart so I can kind of figure out the value of what they are. So this 4 million, I have 4 in the ones millions place, and then I have zeros all behind it. And then for Iceland is 40,000, so 4 is in the 10,000s place, and then it has zeros behind it. So now I've written out my numbers in the place value chart, it's going to be easier for me to compare them. On to step 2, it says count the number of whole number place value positions. So I know that 4 million has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 place value positions. And 40,000 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 place value positions. Okay, so it's asking me 40 million has blank more whole number places than 40,000. So go ahead and figure out how many more whole place values does 4 million have than 40,000. All right, if you guessed 2, you are correct because 4 million has 7 and 40,000 has 5, which equals a total of 2 more whole value places. So if there's 2 whole place value positions more, that means that when we looked at our pattern, each time that you jump up a place value, it's like multiplying it by 10. Remember our pattern? So that means that those place value positions, those 2 place value positions, is thinking that's like 2 spots of 10. So I'm jumping up 2 10s. So if I were to multiply 10 times 10, that equals 100. So that means that 4 million is 100 times larger than 40,000. So Canada's estimated land area is 100 times as much as Iceland's estimated land area. So that's how you can find out the value between 2 different numbers. We knew how to find the value between one digit from another digit. Now we can look at the value between numbers. And the last thing is we can rename numbers. We can rename them using different values. And so down here is a perfect example for us to review this. 40,000 could be made up of 4 10,000s, but we can also show it in different ways. And so if we were to go here, and you see how you have the highlighted 10,000s and thousands place. So what they're wanting to know is how many thousands make up 40,000. So go ahead and take the time to see if you can determine how many thousands are in 40,000. If you said 40, you are correct, because if you were to multiply 40 times 1,000, you would get 40,000. So down here, we have all the way highlighted up to our hundreds place. So we're going to see if we can figure out how many hundreds are in 40,000. So see if you can figure out really quick how many hundreds are in 40,000. If you guessed 400, you are correct. And as you can tell, we could go by a pattern. Each place value that you go to is going up by 10. All right, go ahead and work on your independent practice for